Welcome to Acts 2and42.
I would like to talk about Jared Kusner.
Oh man!
You know, the basically the author of the peace deals. You know, the orchestrator. Orchestrator of the peace deals.
Yeah.
Sheree. So if you could, the reason why I point to you is because he was on your radar before the rest of. We have a pretty interesting story on that, which it's one of those things where it's like not just the details, but the way the story happens is what catches my attention more than anything. If that you'll see what I mean. But straight, Jared Kusner, who is he? Why was he, a person of interest?
I just happened to see him one day. So I see him in the background. I'm just like, like who's that guy? Like I didn't even know like what his cabinet, where he was in the whole system. So, then I forgot I seen him again, and somebody was talking about him, and I'm just like, man, I just got this feeling over me, like, is this somebody we need to watch out for? Because I still didn't know his name. I know what his title was or what, but I had this feeling like, is this somebody we need to watch out for? So like Keith and I was on a fast this one time, and during that I had mentioned it, and I was just like, God, this man. I don't know what it is about him, but I feel like something strong about him. Does he have anything to do with the Antichrist? So, and I didn't tell anybody that. I didn't even tell Keith, and we used to talk about everything. And I didn't tell Keith or nothing. It was just my own personal question. But I asked God, if this is the guy, if this is someone I have to worry about, then you have to tell me something. I mean, something like undeniable, like this is something I can't, dismiss by the end of the week. And if not, I'll just blow it off. It was my own mind, whatever. And I was just thinking dumb stuff. The next day, Keith came to me, and then you can go from there because that's when you had came in my story.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. We had just got off a fast like over the weekend or something like that, and I see this report, and just me being familiar with the Bible, I see this report of this monumental peace deal that's getting relatively no attention, but. And I see, Abraham Accords. And I'm like, Abraham Accords, okay. And I see his peace deal with Israel, and at the time it was the United Arab Emirates. I think it is. So it was just one nation at the time. They suppose it would be like 7 other nations. And I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I gotta look into that peace deal with Israel. That's going on here. This guy, I leave to go to work, and this guy, Nelly Nell, pictured at the bottom of the screen here. He sends me a link to an article about, guess what? Abraham Accord peace deals with Israel. I'm like it just got on my radar. You know what I mean? It just got on my radar. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's this? This is significant. Like 5 minutes later, I just left. He sends me a link. Check this out, which does, to be fair, does happen from time to time. I get home and I'm like, I go to tell Sheree, I'm like, man, look, I just came across this thing, and man, the same as like minutes after I looked at it, I was like, wow, what's that? T sends me a link. And no, for the listener that doesn't know, this has happened on numerous occasions.
Yes.
That's probably important. I say it could have had, I could have seen, I don't know, something on Tim Pool, and you send it to me because you watch Tim Pool as well. Yeah, that does happen. But no, this thing where she, one of us will pray for something, one of us will see something, one of us will say something, and we're like, what? Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, it happens a lot. It has over time. So anyway, so I go to tell her, like, man, this came to my attention. He sends it to me, shortly after. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I was just praying about Jared Kusner, and basically brings me up to speed on what she was talking. I'm like, what? Like, how did you even know who this guy was?
He's the one spearheading the agreements.
Right. Yes, he is. Supposedly he is one of the closest people next to Trump, period.
It's his son-in-law.
It's his son-in-law, married to his daughter, Ivanka, right?
Yeah.
And now they just Great Reset. They actually, I think, attended the Great Reset, and I think Donald Trump actually spoke at one of the most recent events that they had. Just side note, just put that out there that it's all happening. It's all happening.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I think they attended together. But you gotta look this guy up. I mean, outside of having money, you know, and know and being related to the president, it's like, where the heck did he come from?
Yeah.
He was at like
Nobody.
24 years old. He inherited, I guess, his father's business, Kushner Corporation or something. But anyway, and he's basically like a real estate mogul. This is crazy. All right, so this kind of fits into the next part. So we find out, we put our three kind of perspectives together, and we're like, wait a minute, what? There's two things I don't want to forget, and I got one of them. The second one is we have to talk about the Park Avenue property. You know, I found out a few people know about that. But we were watching it came to our attention with the Joe Rogan, Alex Jones podcast that you know, Joe had Alex on. I think since then Alex has had Joe on his show, but Joe had Alex on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he starts talking about Kushner, and he's like, yeah, and then the guy next to him, I don't know who he is, comedian, whatever, but he was like, yeah, the property bought, 666 Park Avenue. He paid double the property value for it, 1.8 billion or something. Paid double. Now supposedly it went belly up, you know, because the market just crashed immediately after. It was like 2007, 2008. So it didn't do well. But yeah, why would you pay double you're a real estate mogul and you pay double the property value? And it just happens to be 666.
Yeah, it wasn't. If I'm not mistaken, there wasn't people in line trying to get the property.
It wasn't a bidding war.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also have to do a little bit of research. I don't know if it was Ted Gunderson or something, like ex-FBI or something, but one of these guys that was talking about the satanic presence that the police know about, the FBI knows about in our country. And part of it was, you know, he was pointing to all these different places that 666 property, the 13th floor, you know, all of these things that corporations seem to be obsessed with, that people seem to be obsessed with, getting that property. It's of spiritual and biblical significance, but it's, for some reason, it's significant to them. So 666 Park Ave, which, by the way, is the number of the beast, right? The number of the man. And she's praying that, is this the guy? I mean, I'm not even one of those guys.
Does he have anything to do with the Antichrist? That's what I was.
Yeah. She's saying, does this has anything to do with? Now, the other thing I didn't want to forget, that I don't know if I ran past you guys or not, but I was recently, I know that the Bible is filled with typification, filled with shadows. I never read the book of Esther like, wow, end times prophecy right in front of me. Never did. You know, I'm familiar with the story, and other than seeming like, oh, wow, what a victorious story. You know, Esther stuck her neck out for her kin, for her, you know, the Jewish people. But I found something interesting. You know, they were being forced to bow to the statue. If I'm not mistaken, it was either the king was Artaxerxes, and Haman was his, was it Haman? Yeah, Haman was his second in command. And it was actually Mordecai, Esther's uncle, I think. That's right.
Cousin or uncle, I can't remember.
Who wouldn't bow to, I think it was Haman's statue. I can't remember if it was the statue of the king, but either way, he would not bow. No, he wouldn't bow, and it wasn't to the statue. He wouldn't bow to Haman himself.
I thought it was to Haman.
Yeah, that's I'm mixing up, you know. Yeah, I'm mixing up stuff. But he wouldn't bow to him, and this was what kicked off the problem, right? Why they wanted to kill all the Jews was because, you know, Mordecai wouldn't bow to Haman. Now, Haman, on behalf of the king, writes this letter to all the rulers of the land, saying basically the king's decree is that on this day we're basically going to kill all the Jews because they, you know, they're going to upset our system. And I said, it sounds like social justice, man. It's like these people, they go against everything we stand for, and they got their own laws, and they won't agree to the laws we've always do. And bro, I'm gonna need you to. Is that your Apple? That's Apple doing that?
Oh, funny guy. The
Apple with the bite taken out of it. That company.
It's incomplete.
That owns a property that's like 666 something.
It's
I guarantee
incomplete.
you. Look it up.
Yeah, they probably do. I ain't
Fact
gonna
check me. Where's Rogan? Pull it up. I don't know if you guys saw that. Everything was like, pull it up on the screen. And everything he pulled up, it was right
was
there.
right. Yeah.
It's like, when do you get the guy some credit? When do you just like, pull it up? Sure. But nonetheless. But what I want to get to is there's like a typification of like end times. And what I think there's a correlation to is the Antichrist, that we're, Revelation 13, that there's going to be a decree that we all have to bow. We have to bow to the image of the beast, right? I don't know. I think there's something there, but my point is that he wasn't the king. He was the second in command. Notice Judas, the typification of Antichrist, not the man of perdition, the son of perdition, Judas. Judas wasn't in charge. He was following the guy in charge. You know what I mean? Like, so we assume he's going to be like king of this country. He may be a ruler. He may have power and authority, but it doesn't.
Isn't it the image of the beast, not the beast itself?
He makes the image of the beast which Satan gave power to be worshipped. And
he makes the image speak, and those that don't worship the image, but not the beast itself.
Yes, to the image. Yes. But I just thought it was odd. Like, and this guy's acting as basically second in command, the right hand of the president. He's not the president, but he's acting in the right hand. He also is a Jew, by the way, which I do believe Antichrist is going to be a Jew. He is a Jew. He is connected financially, economically, politically. Now, I've watched this Washington Post interview from like 2017 with him, and I can't remember who the guy was, but this guy's talking about him like he's the Pope. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, that's what blows my mind about all this is when I looked up who he was, what his history was. I'm like, okay, kind of real estate mogul, happened to be related to the president, has the president's confidence, and he sends him to go orchestrate this deal. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Not really, but a little bit. But then why you're praising this guy and saying, well, look, it doesn't matter if they trust each other. They just all have to trust you. They're putting their trust in you. Why? Who is this guy? Like, I don't get it. Like, I want to jump out of my chair. I just don't understand. He's
that's
not
crazy.
in politics. He's 36 years old. Like,
nobody knew his name.
No one knew who he was.
Right.
And then for some reason, after fasting, she's like, ending fasting, she's like, God, if he's connected to the Antichrist at all, can you show me something? And then our situation happened.
The next day.
That's major.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, we got an eye on him.
Yeah.
Needless to say,
he's a super smooth talker too. Like, he's just he's the opposite of Trump. Trump is a bull in a china shop, and he'll ruffle feathers. He'll upset your feelings, and he won't say it the nice way. He won't say it the politically correct way. And this guy's like the polar opposite. He's smooth as silk, man. He's smooth as silk.
And he looks creepy as heck.
He does look a little.
He does.
I hate to be that guy because we all know how many people tried to guess the date and the year. I'm not trying to do that. But at the same time, we have a peace deal.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't say for how long. It's not like they said it was going to be for 7 years. I don't know.
I don't even think it's supposed to be a designated time frame. I just think that after, I don't think we'll know the time frame because they have these treaties like the Antarctic Treaty where it's a treaty for a certain amount of time. So I think they may know. We'll revisit after this amount of time to see if there's any amendments that need to be made, but I'm not sure if that's something that will be put out publicly. So I don't think we'll know until after. I don't think people would care, but for those of us who do care enough to look, it'll probably be after all of the countries who are getting involved are involved before we know what the designated time is, and even that will come from searching.
But the peace deal is a crucial thing that if it is what it is, then if that has to do with prophecy, then about 3.5 years from now, I guess 3 now, because they've been putting this together for months now, but 3.5 years from now, we should see someone break the covenant, break the peace agreement. We should see attacks on Israel, and we should see the man of sin, man of perdition, Antichrist, be revealed to the Christians should know who he is now. The Christian. It's not like on CBS and we're like, we've now met with the Antichrist. What do you have to say, sir? You know, this is not going to be something the world knows. It's something that we are going to see that no one else sees as usual. So he's going to be revealed. He's going to stand in the temple. I don't know if that's metaphorical, literal, because we know there's not a temple at this moment. And he's going to declare to be God, right? He's going to, the abomination which causes desolation, most probably the image that everyone should bow to. I don't know if there's a correlation there, but they're causing us to bow to the image, take the mark, or die. That should happen in 3.5 years if this peace treaty is that thing. If it's not, and we get to like 4 years down the road, okay, that wasn't it. But what I leave out? We said aliens, right? Orbs, strong delusion, aliens and orbs.
Yeah, we're gonna hit that.
Strong
we're gonna hit
delusion.
that.